Hi there, I'm Tom Spencer. This week on Central Texas Gardener, see how to keep the rainfall where you need it. Designer Adams Kirkpatrick illustrates simple techniques to avoid runoff and flooding by directing water to your plants. On tour, visit a greenhouse to see what aquaponics is all about. Daphne answers your top question and makes her pick of the week, and Tricia Shirey has your backyard basic tips. So let's get growing right here, right now.
Support for Central Texas Gardener comes from GeoGrowers, offering custom soil blends for lawns, gardens, xeriscaping, and organic landscaping supplies. More information at geogrowers.net.
What is aquaponics all about? See how Rob Nash farms on rocky land that doesn't support crops by uniting fish and vegetables.
Rob Nash is a farmer, but he doesn't worry about alkaline soil or amending clay. He doesn't have a tiller or weeds or a huge water bill. Instead, he quickly harvests robust crops for the market in his aquaponics greenhouse. He's living his dream job.
Like so many people, my 7th year at my office job at the insurance company, I decided, this is just not something I see myself doing for the rest of my life.
He went for his passion, growing local food for families. His avocation led him to aquaponics after 7 years with hydroponics. In 2012, he built the first of 2 greenhouses on rocky land that would never support food crops. An innovator, he grows 2 methods of aquaponics culture, a wicking bed, and some hydroponics. Rob named his new farm Hannah Lee after his daughters Hannah and Riley. His wife Lacey, a preschool teacher, and daughters applaud his mission for healthy, local, and resourceful food.
I think it's neat. I tell them all the time, you're the namesake. This is your farm too.
It's kind of fun because all my friends, when they ask what my dad does, I get to tell them all about this, and they seem pretty interested in it.
What is aquaponics? Actually, it's a combination of aquaculture, raising fish, and hydroponics, soilless agriculture.
When we put the 2 together in a constructed, closed-loop ecosystem, we get the benefit of nature's bacterial processes. So by combining fish, plants, and bacteria, we wind up with a symbiotic relationship where the fish provide nutrients for the plants filter the water for the fish.
There are 2 methods. One is media-based, where Rob combines local pink granite and river rock. Every 30 minutes, fish tank water pumps to the beds. Worms and bacteria break down ammonia from fish waste into nitrites and eventually nitrates, a natural plant fertilizer. The gravel also separates the solids. The process returns clean water to the fish tanks. Rob also directs some of the cleansed water through an external filter to his raft beds, the second method of aquaponics culture.
So now that the water has gone through the media beds and the additional filter, it comes in here into this raft, which we basically have about 12 inches of water, which gives you plenty of room for the roots to grow down. We run air through here so that this is hyper aerated, which gives the plants the more vigorous growth. And as you can see, by running it through the filter, you keep these nice clean roots.
He starts from seed and coir fiber to reduce pathogens. Mature transplants move into net pots for the rafts.
We're able to produce a lettuce in 45 days that would typically take 60. Here is a lettuce that's only been in the system for right at 45 days, and it's ready to harvest.
In the media beds, he transplants directly.
With aquaponics, we're typically allowed to plant our plants as much as twice as dense as in ground.
Multitasking water and space, Rob pumps water from the rafts to a few hydroponic towers and back again to the rafts. He grows with water efficiency in a wicking bed too.
Wicking beds are a great way to grow organic produce without the electrical requirements of aquaponics. A wicking bed is a box with a waterproof liner in the bottom, and then we will put a media in there such as gravel so that we can flood that bottom 6 inches with water. On top of the gravel, we would use a weed block and then put our core soil blend on top of that, and that keeps the roots from growing down into that water reservoir.
Through a PVC pipe, Rob fills the basin with homemade compost tea. He tops off the bed with fish water and granular organic fertilizers.
Moisture wicks up through the soil, and the soil stays perfectly moist without you having to water it daily.
Rob chose tilapia for his fish tanks.
Tilapia, however, is a warm-blooded fish that does need its water to remain warm throughout the winter months. By keeping the water 60 or 65 degrees, the fish will continue to metabolize the food at a useful rate. That keeps the plants growing through the winter, which is really the goal.
As Rob demonstrates in classes on his patio for home gardeners, aquaponics can be done outside as long as fish are protected from critters and the water temperature kept warm. He has ultimate control in the greenhouse, though, where he grows basil even in winter and carries winter crops like kale and lettuce through the end of June.
If I add a small chiller wall or an evaporative cooler and some additional shade, I should be able to grow lettuce throughout the summer.
It's important to maintain a ratio between fish and plants. It's easy to test with a typical hobby aquarium kit. He also tests pH.
In Central Texas, with our alkaline water, pH is always considered an issue. There's a point, as your system matures, at say 3 to 6 months, where the system will become acidic and you will begin to have to raise your pH. And so having a high alkalinity water, such as Central Texas, is really to your benefit.
The biggest advantage is water conservation.
With aquaponics, there's absolutely zero waste. The only water that's added to the system is due to plant uptake and evaporation. One perspective is, if you think about watering your lawn with a garden hose for even 30 minutes, you can use as much as 300 or 400 gallons of water just in a small 1,000 square foot lawn. Same thing with a garden. You know, if you ran your garden hose for an hour, it could be as much as 600 gallons of water. In this entire greenhouse facility, we use less than 400 gallons per week.
Rob markets to restaurants that value local food picked just today and just for them. You'll also find him at the Lone Star Farmers Market, thanks to assistance from intern Johnny Wold. The real dream is a family commitment to make a difference. Live here, eat here.
Mostly, we are all just really proud of Rob. Rob has been working on this for a long time, and we haven't exactly been able to be a part of it every step of the way, but we've always been there supporting him, and watching him make this come to life is really exciting. It's really exciting for us. We're really proud of him.
Thanks so much for sharing your garden with us. Right now we're going to be turning our attention to preserving and holding on to the most precious resource we have here in Central Texas, that is rainwater. I'm joined by Adam Kirkpatrick from Sunflower Designs. It's great to have you back on Central Texas Gardener.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
There are a lot of simple, practical things that people can do to hold on to the rainwater on their property. And we're not talking about just rain barrels here. We're talking about some simple things that everybody can do to preserve that precious resource. Let's start by talking about just how much of it we're wasting, I think.
Well, a lot of it does run off.
Yeah.
And even on hard packed soil, especially concrete and impervious cover. But we're wasting a ton of water. Too much of it's going away. And I think that the more we can capture on our lawns, the better our water tables get, the better the environment's going to be for the whole city.
Sure. And we're going to talk about specific strategies for people that anybody can employ. What's number one on your list when you're talking to a homeowner who's concerned about not just the loss of the water, but seeing her garden go downhill?
Well, I think, the number one strategy in any landscape design is dealing with drainage. So making sure that you're protecting the house and all the other things that come with dealing with drainage. While doing that, you might as well put that water in a place where it's going to be a benefit to everything else, to trees, to gardens, to shrubs, to flower beds, etc. So the idea, the simplest thing I think that you can do to preserve as much water on your property is to direct the water into basins.
Okay.
And those come in a variety of different forms, and you can have long, thin trenches across the contour. So if you have a slope coming this way, you have a trench going that way, and it just slowly holds water and moves it across the landscape and allows it to percolate in.
Well, let's talk about the trenches. Another fancy word for this is a swale, which a lot of people use. But you dig a trench that's perpendicular to the water flow?
Right.
Okay. And what do you put in that trench?
Well, another important fact is when you take that water out of the trench, so if this is your slope, this is your trench going across it, you put the water downhill so that you have a buffer or a bumper, something to hold that water in the trench. And you can fill that with mulch, you can fill that with plants. Putting plants on the berm as well will allow those plants to put in deeper roots and hold more and more water on your property.
Okay, so swale is the trench, a berm is the dam in a sense.
Exactly.
Yes, okay. All right, so let's talk about applications here because, you know, I know that you do this on a very large scale sometimes.
Sometimes.
But a homeowner who wants to do this in their yard, some practical steps for them.
Well, I think what's important to realize is that you can visualize very easily from a large-scale project what a berm and swale looks like.
Sure.
Because they're, you know,
They're
can
big.
be 20 feet wide or,
Right.
or larger. But the important thing to understand for a small-scale project for a homeowner is that these things can be very small. There can be multiple ripples of them.
Exactly.
They can be very low. They don't have to even, I have this term that I've come up with, I think, or it may have been spoken before, but an imperceptible berm. You know, the idea that you can't even see it. You could walk over it. You could play soccer on the, you know, in your lawn and not know that you're even going over one. So just the slightest amount of raising up and the slightest amount of dipping down is going to hold more water and keep it on your lawn and allow it to, or in your garden or in your yard, and allow it to percolate in. These are things we say they're human scale in many cases. Some of the ones that I've done or helped design with bulldozers, those aren't necessarily human scale in my understanding. You know, that it's not something that somebody's going to go out with a shovel and do.
Right,
for
not a whole lot of us can drive a cat. You know?
Right.
All right.
But you know, the beauty of having a human scale berm, a very, you know, a 6-inch berm, a 6-inch deep swale, is that if it fails, if we have a very heavy rain and the water happens to break through at one point, it's very easy to fix. So, you know, these are not, I don't think they should be seen as anything that's intimidating to people.
And then the whole idea really here is just to slow the water down so that there's a chance to get down to the roots of these plants that we're talking about.
Right.
And it's a very simple thing, but something we overlook. Just slow it down if you can find ways to slow it down. You use the word direct, and direct the water as well, and that's something that a lot of people, you know, they have in their minds when they hear about rainwater saving. They think about directing water into a basin,
Right.
or you know, some kind of device, a cistern,
A tank, or
a tank, exactly. But it can be something that's underground and hidden as well, right?
Absolutely. And one thing to remember is when you're doing that, your trees will also hold water. So all the plants in your landscape are going to be holding that water. And on top of that, another strategy to hold even more water in your landscape is to create several layers of canopy.
Okay.
So having you know, not everybody has big trees, but you can plant them small and eventually you'll have big trees, and you can create a 7-layer canopy forest in your yard or in a corner of your yard. You can fill in various layers. The more canopies on top of canopies that you have in a landscape, the less light hits the ground, the less drying out, the less evaporation.
And the more roots,
And
too.
the more roots, absolutely. And
Right.
all those roots, especially when you plant plants that are of the same guild or of the same kind of, they work well together.
Exactly.
They're made, they're found in nature in the same areas.
Sure.
Then those plants, the root systems work harmoniously to hold even more water.
Right, right. So that whole thinking about what you're planting from the very beginning is a rainwater saving device as well.
And even along the way, I mean, people come into established landscapes, they buy houses, or they are coming into maybe it's not a clean slate, maybe they don't
Very
have...
few people get that opportunity.
Right, right, to have a blank slate and
Right.
to start from scratch. So working with what you have and seeing, okay, I've got some tall trees or some medium trees, and I can plant some shrubs and ground covers around that to complement those
Yeah.
other things that are already in place.
Well, before we leave the subject of 7 layers here, I just want to give people an idea. You have your large trees. You have what we call understory trees that fall underneath them,
Right.
medium-sized trees, 15 to 20 foot maybe. Then you have shrubs.
And small trees as well. So
Right.
there's tall, medium, and small trees.
Okay.
And then tall, medium, and small shrubs.
Okay.
And then ground cover.
Okay.
That becomes the 7 layers.
Okay, very simple then.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So layer it, direct the water, and one of the things about water direction, and you talk about, you have some images of actually formal-looking planters that are acting as swales, and underneath of them there's some basins where you hold the water.
Right.
Describe this, because I think this is brilliant.
Well, the idea is that you can take the water off of your roof, and whether you have a gutter or not, and it's just kind of watch where the drainage flows and even direct it towards raised bed gardens. And then underneath the raised bed garden, instead of just doing a raised bed and leaving it at that, you can dig down another foot or so,
Okay.
and then put in gravel and wrap that gravel with some silt fabric cloth.
Right.
And then you hold water underneath the garden, and it changes the temperature of the garden. It accelerates how fast the gardens grow, the raised bed gardens
Right.
grow, and it gives you a chance to hold even more water. And you can do this. I've got an image of a series of those that
Right.
we're trying to achieve 0 runoff. So we don't want to give away the water.
It's like underground reservoirs. And you talked about the silt fabric, and that's available in large sheets, but I've also seen silt bags, and I've
Yes.
seen people fill gravel into the bags. And for a homeowner, that would be an easy way to manage it.
very easy, very easy. And you don't have to do a perfect silt fabric bag and gravel, but
Just the gravel alone will.
the gravel alone would help a lot. But over time, that will silt up and start to become less of a reservoir. So
Right.
that's the reason why it's good to wrap, and it's good to wrap those overlapping twice on top, because then all the silt that comes down falls off on either side, and
Right. And that whole idea of creating reservoirs plays hand in glove with the idea of rain gardens, correct?
Sure, yeah. Rain gardens are very simple ideas. When it rains only a little bit, there's still a lot of water flowing down the side of the roads, right? So you can collect all of that water, take it into a basin, and let it fill up, basically the same idea of a
Right.
wrapped gravel basin. And then as that fills up, have an outlet so that it goes right back out to the street when it's full. And 9 times out of 10, when we have light rains, nothing's going to leave that.
Right.
And then, of course, you want to plant that with plants that can handle being dry because they're on top of a gravel reservoir.
Right.
And then also can handle being flooded.
And there are great plant lists available for those kinds of
Absolutely.
gardens, right? Well, I think this is the future of gardening in our region in a lot of ways, and I'm really excited to have you come on and share this kind of introductory course, if you will, for our viewers. And I know that a lot of folks are going to be out there thinking about what they can do to preserve their moisture. So thanks so much, Adam, for being our guest.
My pleasure.
All
Thank
right,
you.
Coming up next, it's our friend Daphne.
Hi, I'm Daphne Richards, and this is Augie. Our question this week comes from our Facebook page. Why do cucumber and squash flowers fall off the plant before fruit's produced? I love this question since it involves so much of the easy science behind the life cycles of flowering plants. Some plants have very little trouble with pollination, while others struggle. Plants in the Cucurbitaceae, the squash family, have a challenging time with pollination, especially with our native bee population in decline. As you know, squash, cucumbers, and other peepos, as they're often called by vegetable gardeners, have a long, full fruit with lots of seeds. Well, in order for that fruit to develop at all, and then to expand and elongate, pollination must occur. If there's no pollination, the plant has no reason to make a fruit. A fruit without offspring would be a serious waste of resources, and cucurbits simply don't waste their time. If a little bit of pollination occurs, then a few seeds will develop and the fruit will expand, but it will be very small. It's all part of nature and the conservation of precious natural resources for survival. Unfortunately, lack of pollination in squash and cucumbers is very common, but the good news is the problem is easily solved. You can pollinate the flowers yourself. Many gardeners tell me that they simply use their forefinger to grab a little pollen from one flower and use it to pollinate the next. Fancier folks might use a paintbrush to do the same job, especially if they're doing controlled cross-hybridization between species and want to ensure against contamination. You can also simply remove one flower and use it to pollinate the others. Plants in the squash family have two types of flowers, male and female. The female flowers produce the fruit, which you can see as a tiny swollen area behind the tubular flower. Male flowers contain the pollen, so be sure to remove a male flower to use as your pollen source. Then simply press the pollen down into the center of the female flower, onto the stigma, which is the elongated part of the flower, in the center. Make sure that you get plenty of pollen on that stigma. All of the seeds in the flower need to be pollinated or the fruit will be small and underdeveloped. Our plant this week is Duranta, also known as Brazilian skyflower. This rapidly growing shrub can get 10 to 15 feet tall and over 5 feet wide. It's listed as hardy to only zone 9, so here in Central Texas, it dies to the ground in winter in most gardens. But in our demonstration garden at the Extension Office, Duranta is evergreen, hardly even skipping a bit in the coldest of winters. We have it planted against a wall with full sun exposure all day, so the heat that builds up during the day is radiated during the night, keeping the microclimate much warmer there than in other areas of our garden. If Duranta dies to the ground in winter in your garden, simply prune it back to about 3 inches from the ground, and it will re-emerge from the roots in spring. There are several cultivars of Duranta, but my favorite is the purple flowering one. It flowers from early spring all the way through fall and doesn't bat an eyelash at the heat or lack of rainfall. We also have a white flowering cultivar in our garden, and it's also very pretty and forms very pretty yellow ball-like fruits, more so than any of the other cultivars. If you want to attract native birds to your landscape, they'll love the fruit of the white flowering cultivar. Duranta will perform best in full sun, but it can also take light shade and flower quite prolifically. To do in your garden this week: